Yeah, there we go. That's more like it. I don't know what happened. We just came in raw, like hot. Like, I was like, what's going on here?
No doubt.
Yeah, I was like, dang, you know,
We
came
have
in way too hot.
we didn't
Yeah,
have any real technical
nah, it
stuff
wasn't.
in a
That's
while.
not bad. All things considered, that's like action. So here we are, another beautiful Saturday morning.
Fabi though.
Yep, November 1,
Uno.
2025. You have 61 days left in 2025.
Yes,
How
sir.
do we feel about that?
Mm. Mm.
61 days, man.
To 2026.
Yep.
That's what we coming up with.
Yep. 2026 is on the way. We literally have 61 days. So, what are we going to do with these 61 days? Includes quite a few holidays. So, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Um, that's kind of a thing. So we got to
Yeah.
deal with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm doing a little production work right here. Little
Got straighten up. Tighten up.
yeah, I'm trying to tighten up. It ain't working the way I want it to work. Yeah. Oh, that's why. Okay. Still getting used to that, camera placement thing. Been working on some stuff though.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I know you got a lot to say, so I'm just, I'm just gonna hop on here and just say, um, our new content has kind of released. So after 13 years planning to do this stuff, we finally got some 3 pieces of content. Well, 2. You haven't seen the other one yet because it'll come out Monday. Got some Hey with CPA content going down. Ask Jay the CPA is on, released on Wednesday, and had an interesting blog post. I could talk about that whenever you give me this shot. I
Yeah,
could
do
talk.
your thing. Do your thing.
I ain't know, I know you
Yeah,
like locked in.
it's just my flow, but just do your
Yeah,
thing.
I don't want to disturb your flow, man.
Good. We don't never disturb my flow. We align.
Just saying, man. I'm just like,
We
well,
can't. One of my book topics is never eat alone. So get your flow going.
okay, all right, well, cool. So now quickly, and hopefully we get. Well, now hopefully we'll have this as a feature of the show. I plan on doing these. I started doing a short post. Um, really, they're me talking. So, in full transparency, it's been a little difficult for me to just sit down and write, like that. But as you well know, I have no problem talking, and the talk game is always in effect. So, what I've started to do through the help of some of my digital consultants is start creating short posts, you know, um, for people to, so that I could express myself in a way that people and it's natural. So I'm kind of dictating it and then and writing it. So in this day of AI, we use AI. Don't have no shame about that. But when you see something and it says me, it's me. Okay. So this week, a topic came up. Um, and I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna bring up a copy of the post here. Where is it? Okay. It's kind of bugged out here. We're gonna bring this into the stream. So this week's blog post from me is the title is your employee taking over the kingdom. And we have a nice little picture there. Um, you know, I want you to go read it, so I'm not going to tell you everything that's going on there. But as you can see, those of you on audio, I'll let you know that we see the employee signified by the name tag. Business owner in a suit with a lot of question marks around their head, sitting there lost, don't know what's going on. So it's it's interesting concept based on a conversation I had this week, and at the end, I will ask the end question to everybody out there that's in business, and even if you work for a small business, for you to think about this is: are there things that one employee is too reliant on one person, on one employee specifically? If you're the owner, if you have an employee that you're completely relying on, something, you might want to call this therapy, straighten that out, because that's yeah, and it goes. But I don't want to give away my writings. I'm promoting here. I want people to go to the blog, son, and go to the blog, haywardcpa.com/blog, and go read it. Oh, but it's also on Facebook. And you know what? You can actually post a link on the YouTube page. I just thought about that. Marketing department is open over here, man. But it's an example of us trying to put content in. We're trying to teach people. What we see is a lot of people, and it's thought provoking when you think about it. But there's a lot of people out here that when we use the term that the business is running them. Well, part of it is your employees are running you, and so they running you and you paying them. So that's my thing for the week. See, I'm replacing my rant with talking about the writing. See, that's gross. That's, I'm on something else. I'm doing it different.
You just use your energy wisely. That's all.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, using the energy. I mean, even the workflow to do it.
Yeah.
But it, like everything we talk about, like this is, we talk about it in a lot of ways, but we talk about the end product is always you see the end product. So you don't ever see all the half articles I've written, the the ones, but you will see them because I got a way to finish them now.
And you got all the folders, right? You got all those saved documents and
just yeah.
So this is a perfect example of still running the business, working on the business, working in the business, wearing all of the hats, and still having to pay attention to the structure of things. Right?
Absolutely.
It's not necessarily about what you're bringing in per se. It's about how the structure supports what you're going to bring in. And so this is really these are the steps. This is the gray area that you don't really see. People may or may not talk about it. May or may not give you a roadmap. Because there's a lot of gatekeeping going on in the world. However, this fourth quarter, this is the time to sharpen your structures. Make sure your foundations, whatever cracks are there, are they good cracks or are they bad cracks, right? Do they need to get sealed up? Do they need to get broken and put back in place? As well as, let's include what we're here for as well, right? Tax season stuff, tax planning, tax strategy, end of the year close out with your books, your taxes, moving on to the 2026 year goals, because that's coming right around the corner. What'd you say, 61 days?
61 days.
Yeah.
That
So
includes holidays and weekends.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course. Even nighttime.
No, I'm just saying, it's
Even
certain
nighttime too. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
so it's not really 61 days
Yeah,
because
correct. Correct. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, this is just that was a perfect lead into today's episode, right? And something that we always talk about is it's the All right, I'm just gonna get into it. So one of the
Get into it.
into my notes here. So I've been having these scenarios lately, and I ran across a book, and I ran across a couple of books, but this particular one touches in a pretty deep kind of way. Besides seeing around corners and what got you here won't get you there books. So I'm gonna keep repeating those because those are very, very strong books, right? But this one is The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday, right?
Okay.
And so part of what we do and how we talk, and we go through production, and we have internal meetings, we have meetings with clients, or we're going out to visit for prospective clients, or on the phone doing consultations for prospective clients. There's always an obstacle. And that's what businesses are here for, to solve problems, right? So, so this book by Ryan Holiday kind of outlines like a lot of different areas, but he puts one specific statement in place as the foundation, right? And it said, what stands in your way becomes the way.
Okay.
Right?
That's interesting.
Yeah, let that soak in for a minute, right? So, in other words, obstacles aren't barriers to success. They're the path to it, through it and to it, right? Yeah. Every challenge hides an opportunity to practice clarity, discipline. And I like to replace discipline with the word devotion, because if you're devoted to it, discipline comes into play.
Yeah.
Discipline kind of is like it's a heavy word, right?
It's loaded now. It's really loaded.
Yeah. So discipline and resilience, right? You got to be adept. Not, we say adapt and adjust, but adept. You got to be able to bend, not break. So that's the one book. That's one book there. I'm just looking through my notes here. Couple of key points here is perception, perspective, see clearly, right? It's you can't control certain things. Is how you interpret them is what you control, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So when like, for example, business wise, when sales slow down, see it as a time to refine your systems and your structure. Again,
Q4, like November, December.
Q4, right? Exactly, right. Yeah. Key point number 2: action. Move forward. We don't control what happens. We always control how we respond. That's human nature, right? So don't waste time overthinking. Act with purpose, right? And then there's a couple of other things he thinks about. So moving forward, taking action, and then imparting your will. So if you move forward, you run into a thing, and you take an action and you run into a thing. Now it's time to invoke your will so you can get past that thing or get through that thing, right? So he breaks down that. And then endure and adapt, right? True will is quiet humility, resilience, and resourcefulness. Resourcefulness is key. So I'm gonna stop there on that book, right? On those key points, and we're gonna get into that a little bit more conversations with Cor, because I want to unpack a little bit more of those things. So that leads into the other book, though.
Oh, okay. Here's the B book, or the A book, or how you look at it.
I don't know. It's just 3 of them, man. We normally do one topic, but I'm just real high level stuff. We're gonna get into this on the next episode, right? Never eat alone. Right. Relationships are your greatest asset.
Absolutely.
Now, we know the term your network is your net worth, right? Yeah. So one of the things he says in here is don't wait until you need relationships. Develop them in advance.
Yeah. Develop them as you go.
Correct. Right? So I'm gonna pause on that right there.
You gonna take a pause on that?
You take a pause on that, right?
You yield. Okay.
I'm yielding back. What you guys say on that? Because then this is the other topic right here. I think is gonna get your juices flowing.
No, I'm totally zen today, but I tell you, okay. Wait, give me the statement again. It was since you want me to get going. relationships, do them as you're going.
So don't wait until you need them. Start working on them.
Oh gosh, absolutely. Listen, I mean, you know, the world, the business world, is such catchphrases. You know, we have a lot of catchphrases, and in life too. One of which being, you know, on your rise to the top, you never know who you meet, because you might meet them on the way back down. And that's a variation of this. You know, things are constantly moving. I'll throw another cliche: if you're not growing, you're dying. You know, things are constantly moving. You know, you have to constantly build relationships for things that you may not even be doing right now. You might have to build relationships just to get, or you might build a relationship to help someone else that's in your circle. That may not even be directly for you. It could just be, hey, you know what? I know somebody that's interested in XYZ and so on and so forth. Yeah, let me get your number. You know what I'm saying? Right. You may cultivate the relationship because the person may not even know they need that person. Right. So it is. I think that also goes into, we talk about this constantly learning. I put that as part of the curriculum. Yo, you always, that's super powerful. That's I
read a book a long time ago, like years and years and years ago, says do business with people that do business with you, and that just holds true to this day. I read that book like 20 years ago, man.
Yeah, but you do, but those things get you to the mindset of what this is about, you know, right. And it's what this is about. A little preview of my next mini blog post gets back to that, self-employed small business entrepreneur thing. One thing is having resources. So, as an example, and it's for making relationships, but it can even be being familiar with a vendor or your experience. You know that, or you know how to get to somebody or someone in that mode. I was just thinking about it yesterday when I was doing a little light recycling, and I used to run retail store, and so our number one fan is looking at doing some shipping, selling and shipping stuff, and it just occurred to me, like, I used to do that. I know how to. I saw a Uline catalog. I was like, yeah, I know that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I know who to start looking if I needed some materials or something, about the shipping thing, because we talked about it before. And it's just that stuff I know. And so there's a relationship with a vendor, relationship. I'm like, oh, I can go back and do that stuff tomorrow. If I had a retail store or some type of retail store, I could step in there tomorrow and be like, okay, yeah, this is what we need to do. All right. So like that, and a lot of that is, and it's probably some people I could call if they still in the mix, like that. Same thing used to be the same way with music, but that whole industry kind of blew up. But but there's some people I know, and I got the man, he knows too. Chicken Man, he knows too. Yeah, and it's, we can get at people. You talk about. I was just thinking this morning, we got to bring him on. He gonna want to be shy, but we got to bring him on. But he's 100%. This is like, he's the most relationship guy I know. Like, he is all about relationships. Yeah. Me, sometimes I might take the nuclear option, but nevertheless.
So to wrap up that statement, he kind of goes into like the core idea, right? I'm gonna steal that though. KOR.
I know. I already saw it coming down the. I saw it coming straight now.
Business is not about what you know. It's about who you grow with, right? And so I yield back on that. We're gonna get into that a little bit more on Conversations with Core, right? But the other piece that we may not have too much time to go through today, but we're gonna go through it on Conversations with Core, and we'll link it to everybody. Is the $100 million money model. This one's a deep dive. So we'll probably catch this on the next episode as well and cover some areas too. But the $100 million money model, right? Okay. And it's all about perspective. It's all about the growth shift. And how do you get a growth shift is understanding your money, because cash is king. And then how do you structure your cash is king game plan, your planning and your strategy, because a plan is not a strategy and the strategy is not a plan, FYI. But how do you structure those things in order to execute, right? And to have that execution, you got to be able to think in terms of what these different money models look like, identify your money model, and then transition mentally and physically so you can execute, right? And so super good book, man. I ran across this in I think I was watching another video, and it asked like some really good important questions, like, what is your primary upfront transaction value? Whoa, right? How many repeat purchases or upsells exist in your business model, right? So, like I said, there's a lot to cover in here, but what I want to do now, we have a special guest. Want to get her into, bring her in. We have a Tamet Farrington of Tafari Solutions. And what we're going to do is let her come in and introduce herself so we don't steal her fire, thunder, rain, and pain. All right. So welcome, everybody. We want to welcome T. Farrington.
Yeah, side goes down around here. You'll see that. It's a little ridiculous around here. So,
I love that energy. It just lights me up. I appreciate that.
Get this cleaned up. Yeah, let's get out. Look, our screens are all crazy. All right, no problem. I got this. Speak among yourselves.
Hey, how are you?
Hey there. I'm doing pretty good today. How are you?
All right, doing well. Well, let the world know who you are. It's your floor.
Yeah, sure thing. Hello, world. My name is Tamet, also known as Tafari, and I'm the owner of Tafari Solutions. I help to unlock the doors of self-made prisons. And so I serve as a mindset coach, and I'm happy to be here on today.
Nice.
Mindset.
Messing up the Tafari.
We don't usually have 3 people here, so I'm playing with the camera. So don't be. This is the right one. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, you start. I got to process all that. Nice to meet you, by the way.
So thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, the alignment, the time alignment was proper, right? I know we were supposed to do this time, but there's many more invites that you have, and
appreciate that.
And the stage is open to you as well.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. If you got anything you want to spin off, definitely let me know when we bring you in. And then we're gonna get you on Conversations with Core, because that's next.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
That one is gonna be the real alignment there. We can really talk about some mindset stuff.
Yeah.
So
let me interject. This one we use fewer syllables. You see, so you know what I'm saying. So he got to say alignment. I'll be like, yo, this is when we link up. We talk about, you know what I'm saying. We like. He's a refined gentleman, man.
I'm using alignment. Okay, well, let me add something to it, right?
No, use alignment.
Car, and your steering wheel is going this way. Your wheels are out of alignment.
Yeah.
So you gotta get in alignment. So for those that are drivers or sitting in the back seat, if you don't understand your wheel is not straight, get straight.
All I'm saying is alignment. 3 syllables. It's 11 o'clock on Saturday, and we talk about accounting. We try to use less than 3 syllables. That's all I'm trying to say. So that's all I'm trying to say.
While we still drinking coffee. Anyway. Oh man. So mindset coach. What does that even look like? What does that mean?
Yeah. So I believe that everything is first going to start here in your mind. You're given options and you decide and you commit. I believe that whatever you believe is your reality, whether it's true or not. So sometimes we can look at life, we can look at our journey, whether it's an entrepreneurial journey or just living the life journey in general. And there are certain parts of our life that we can find ourselves displeased with. And the question is why? Why are you displeased with it? Is it because it's not what you want it to be? And if so, are you spending a lot of time focusing on that? Or is your energy invested in focusing on what you do want and taking action towards that? So I help people to acknowledge currently where they are, what they desire, where they're trying to get to, and what actions and steps they're going to take to get there, what strategy they're going to take to get action to accomplishing the goals that they desire. And so I find that a lot of people don't even know what they want sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then even with knowing what they want, why they don't have it, at the root of it is fear.
Right.
The reasons why they don't have certain things in their life, it comes down a lot. The core of it is fear. So that is hidden behind money, it's hidden behind time, it's hidden behind capacity, and this and so on and so forth. But a lot of times at the root of it all is fear. And so if I can transform your mind, if you can transform your mind to look at things differently, how much more would that change the reality in which you live in?
Mm. Wow. Wow. No, I mean, because we link up. How was that? 2 syllables? Link up. Link
Yeah,
up.
there you go. There you go. Link
We link
up.
up
There you go.
with, with with biz therapy. So biz therapy is still growth mindset. It's all about mindset, but I attack it. We attack it in a whole different perspective, utilizing tangible things, right? So we go after business owners that are kind of stuck in
Yeah,
where they are, right? And that's stuck where they get stuck at. It's like they almost accept that they can't go beyond where they currently are.
correct.
And I know this all too well by my own experiences, right? And
Yeah,
my own life endeavors and journeys of being in the working world and raising a family and things of that nature. It's just part of what human nature is, right? And
yeah,
so, we see some specific clues or some specific habits that folks have, especially when they come through the firm for some consultations as well as other areas of how they come in, right? And
mm-hmm.
we identify those hangups and be able to pinpoint them, get them into the program. Now, specifically with your approach, strictly mindset, even though it's all the same as the same.
Yeah.
What are some of like maybe the top 3 or top 5? I don't know, things that are your qualifiers or commonality with folks that you actually coach, mentor, and teach.
When you say qualifiers, tell me more.
So, and when somebody comes to you with a hang up, how do
Mm-hmm.
you identify a fit for your program, mindset wise?
Oh, that's a good question. That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, you're fine.
Um, as soon as people speak, they a lot of times tell you who they are. Um, and it's up to us to believe them or not.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they tell us their fears, their doubts, their insecurities. And so I would say a lot of times, also what comes out of your mouth is what's in your heart.
Correct.
And that's Bible, right? So what happens is as soon as you start speaking, when I hear words like, oh, but I can't do that, oh, well, I'm too old for that, or you got it, you're younger. A lot of times people are speaking defeat over them. Every other sentence is a sentence of defeat, and we were not created to be defeated. We have already won. And
Right.
so when you know this, it's going to come out. It's because it resides in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I look at is um, I listen to what you say and what you don't say.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to the things that you're dealing with at this time, if you're in a transition, you're raising a family, you are employed, but you've been thinking, when you say I've been thinking about this, well, why you're not doing it? Why is it that you're trying or thinking and not doing?
Right.
So there are certain keywords and indicators. If you're in the 30 to 60 range, I have a sweet spot for 30 to 45. However, there's another sweet spot at 60 and up, those going into retirement. What's up? Why you laugh?
Cause I'm outside the sweet spot.
30 to 45. I can tell you why you outside the sweet spot with the 50-year-old. Y'all generation between 50 and 60, y'all are very interesting. It's kind of like,
let's get into it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I'll put it like this. I worked in higher education, right? And so with that, each year, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, they're like, you can be a completely different person each year. First year, you're coming in, you're clueless, you don't know what's up, what's down. You're like, help me, I'm humble, teach me whatever you got to teach me. This is kind of that 30-year-old range. The 30-year-old, you made enough mistakes to know, like, all right, it's real out here. My mistakes actually have consequences. They have either gone through divorce, abuse, been to jail, just been fired, quit a job, moved to another place, been broke, trying to come back up. It's just major transitions, right? So it's you're a little humble. You might got a new baby. You don't know what you do, newly married. So there's humbleness. All right. So that's 30. 40 is like the sophomore year of college, where you're like, I've lived a little bit, I've experienced some things. I'm still, there's some things I don't know, but I pretty much got it. That's kind of given my 50-year-old. It's like this not cockiness, but it's just like, well, what can you really teach me? Like I've been here for 50 years, 50 plus years. What can you teach me? So it's kind of like, it's a little hard to get through, especially when you talk about things that may judge or assess their character, who they are as a person, and kind of pushing them to another level. It's kind of like, well, I already got this, and that. Like, I'm pretty good. So trying to break through this pride with that generation is can be challenging. Y'all still want to be like, and it's like, it's okay to not know, or so. And then my 60-year-olds are kind of like my seniors in college. They're like, oh God, I'm about to retire, I'm about to graduate, what's going to be next? I don't know. I'm entering this whole new world of a career. I'm entering this whole new world of not working. What does that look like? Should I be taking this step? Am I ready? I want to, but like, what's next? So they're humbled again, because this is a whole nother uncharted territory for them. So they want to know, like, how am I still going to be able to live? I know I did this whole retirement plan and I have this money, but I still want to make sure I have some security. So they're very open to exploring new ideas and kind of learning all over again. So I forgot how I got to this point, but
because I'm outside the sweet spot. You were telling me how much I know everything, and you couldn't. If I was your client, you couldn't tell me nothing. That's how you got there.
No, it's just you guys. It's definitely a little bit more layered. You're a little bit more protected and guarded. And being vulnerable and is not really kind of at the top of the list. It's kind of like you got to dig a little bit.
I understand. I mean, I'm speaking for the representatives because I'm different anyway. I'm just totally different. But completely. I got a question, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
How did you get into this type of work? What was your
You
path to
stole
get?
my question. You stole my question, man.
Well, I
No,
need to do something. What I'm doing? I'm just gonna sit here.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want to make no
yeah,
wisecracks the whole
okay.
time.
We play too much. We play too much. By the way.
No, I'm here for it.
No,
So
we just acting up because we got company. We don't never have company. We're not acting. That's all.
So my background is in counseling and adult education and rehabilitation services with a minor in substance abuse. So that's kind of like the collegiate space before I actually experienced life. And so I knew I wanted to make impact with transforming people's lives from the inside out. Um, but upon graduation, working, in my career, going through marriage and divorce and having to start over, um, being a single mother of 2 kids under the age of 3, you kind of get in this bit of a survival mode, of a hustle mode, right? So I just went full fledged with working, trying to get it any way I could. And with that, I would say I had different, side hustles, things like that. Got to working at Central. I created an entrepreneur center there. So I was serving as an advisor. They wanted to um, build a center for student success within the College of Arts and Sciences at that time. And I said, well, instead of me coming up with something, let me see what the students want. I presented options, but past tutoring, past a whole bunch of other stuff, entrepreneurship took the lead. So they wanted to see an entrepreneur center. So I had like a little side office that was kind of like a storage space. I put a couch, table, microwave in there, and I turned it into a center. So it was a place that people could come to and get free consultation on finances and marketing. And it was open to students, staff, faculty, and community members. And so that was the year in 2019, we started that. We did a pilot. And that summer, people were still asking about it because I was like, the traffic was a little slow. So I was like, should I still continue this? Well, that summer, people were coming in, and I was like, oh, y'all do want this. So I continued that, made a lot of connections and resources within that space, became a trained entrepreneurial mindset facilitator, and just use my God-given gifts and skills, formal education, and life experiences to say, hey, I know what it's like to be on the journey, to go from here to here, and to build your mindset back up, to believe and to have hope again. And so I've experienced that personally, and then I have formal education as well.
Impressive. So now you chose to do it your own business.
Yes.
And now are you still at Central, or are you doing your own thing exclusively now?
Yeah, so I'm doing my own thing now. I still teach at Central. So I do serve as an instructor teaching a college introduction course. I also like to refer to it as a liberation course, a life course, the way my teaching style is. But so I still do have some ties in that regard. Um, but yeah, so I went through therapy myself. I went through coaching myself. And I didn't know anything much about life coaching. I didn't know that it existed. When I heard a coach, I just thought it was like athletics. So it was something new to me. I didn't find this out until my early 30s, where this was a thing, right? So there are people who don't know stuff like this exists, period. And when I found it out and experienced this, therapy is going to dive a lot back into your childhood, into your past. Coaching is going to take, and especially my approach, where you are currently, where you're trying to get to, and what is in between that. And so from that, I was like, oh, I'm moving forward. Like, I'm not trying to talk about the past. I want to move forward. And so from that transformation that I experienced, I was like, one, I could do this. I didn't even know this exists. I can do this. And I can do this. And so I did it.
Nice.
Mhm.
Nice.
Impressive.
Nice.
Most
Yeah, big
impressive.
ups. Big.
All
You
right,
made a
I'll
point.
say
You
I'll
made
say
a,
my question. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. Go ahead. I was
No,
just saying.
no, we got a ping pong, man.
No, no, no. Your question is powerful. Go ahead.
No, it's I don't know where direction you were going because I just had a follow up to something she said.
Yeah. So
That's
follow up with her because my question is
as a
real simple.
yeah, no. So as a teacher,
Yeah.
this is something. This is actually me doing research. How do you define entrepreneurship and or entrepreneur? How do you define that? What do you define that as?
Yeah, sure thing. I define it as problem solving. You're a solutionist. So you know where the problems are and you come through to solve them. In a nutshell, that's how I would define it. I mean, there's a lot of other this and this and that and this, but at the end of the day, you're solving problems. And to me, that's what entrepreneurship is about.
Can I quote you?
Sure.
Okay. No, I'm serious. I got a blog post on that. That's what, and so I'm trying to keep it from his, my echo chamber. That's all. So I was
Oh, okay,
saying,
okay.
I wanted to see if your definition line, 2 syllables,
Okay.
with my post. That's what,
Okay.
no, seriously though. No, yeah, I could quote you. No
Yeah,
doubt.
yeah, yeah. I just think it's solving problems essentially because there are problems in the world to be solved. And that's the approach I take when I work with my students as well. I ask them, why are you here? A lot of them are like to get a degree, to be successful, to make money, this and that. But nobody is ever approaching this like, I'm here to solve problems. There are things that I don't know and need to know to solve the problems in the world. When we talk about the state of Black America right now, what's the mission? What mission are we on? What is the vision that we have? What are we trying to solve? Right? So there are problems happening, but as a collective, what are we coming to whether it's a mindset or problem, what are we coming to eradicate? We talk about justice and things like that, but and economic mobility. So there are a lot of buzzwords,
Catchphrases.
yeah, flying around. But what is the mission that we are set on? Right. I'm on a mission. I'm trying to create people who are independent thinkers who can think for themselves. They're not trying to drink themselves, smoke themselves, sex themselves to death, eat themselves to death. Right. So independent thinkers, folks who are trying to take care of their temple, their body, their mind and their body, essentially, because that's all you got. At the end of the day, your greatest asset is your health. Your health. You can have all the money in the world. You can't spend a dime if your health is not in order. So that's your physical and your mental health. And I take a very holistic approach to how I work with individuals. But essentially, I'm trying to help heal our people from the inside out.
Oh yeah,
No, yeah, I
I'm
felt
a
that,
yield for
man.
real
We,
now.
yeah, we're aligned properly. Um,
No more
so
questions for me. Good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Look, having two of us in the room with him, it's a killer.
Okay. Like I'm gonna pull back from the mic a little bit.
Yeah,
Y'all got it right
like
now.
this kind of way. I'm like, yo, call. So in your God body state, man, from our conversation, he's gonna come up with something anyway. My question is, what are the misconceptions that people have when it comes to mindset coaching? Because there's
Um,
misconceptions about coaching, period, but specifically your alignment with what you do.
yeah, what I found is people have never experienced it. They do not know what it is, so there's an ignorance. I'm reading this book right now, which I highly recommend, Outwitting the Devil, by Napoleon Hill.
Oh, that's my guy, Napoleon Hill. Yeah.
Yes, yes, Outwitting the Devil. A must read, a must read. And one of the things he talks about is one of the secret tactics of Satan is fear and ignorance. fear and ignorance. And so I think that people not understanding or not knowing or having no exposure to it whatsoever, the benefits of it, that's the beginning of it. Like I said, I was in my early 30s when I just knew it even existed. This is a thing. There are people who talk about this all the time. When you look at athletes, all of them got a coach. They're making millions. They have a coach. And so as I've grown in my knowledge, on my journey when I was growing in my knowledge about it, I'm like, oh, this is a thing. Like millionaires have coaches, six figure, they have coaches. People have somebody else. They have mastermind groups. And I think, we're in a society that's very individualistic thinking. I think as a culture, our strength is in community, it's in storytelling, but we've gotten away from that. I give an example. I got a cousin now who is just struggling with some things, don't have transportations in a whole nother city, things like that. And my mom is like, why don't she see if a neighbor or somebody got a car that she can connect with and maybe, get a ride here and there. But it's like we're not talking to our neighbors. We ain't talking to coworkers. We ain't talking to nobody. A lot of us are lonely and alone, feel lonely and alone, and we are isolating ourselves. And that is not going to be the solution for us to progress forward. We have to connect. We have to form these groups of folks that can hold us accountable, folks that are way smarter than us. We hear this in high school and college and things like that, and we take it lightly. But this community is essential to our success. We are not designed to do it on our own. And so I'm here to be a part of, folks who are looking for a team of, a team to help them build and reach their desired goals. So
Nice.
did I answer the question? I think I did.
Yeah. You took the long way, but you explained a few other questions inside of there. But that also leads to, because we do a book review as well. We read a lot of books and we talk about some specific things. But one of the book topics today was Never Eat Alone, right? And so that speaks to what you just talked about, where, gatekeeping, right? Feeling alone, not building relationships, right? And, one of the key points in there was don't wait until you need relationships before you start building them.
Yes, that's good. That's good. Yeah, you got to give something if you're trying to get something. And I think, I've had people come to me like, how are you able to cultivate such good relationships? Well, I'm always seeking to understand genuinely what is it that you need and how can I help you first?
Right.
What can I do for you?
Right.
And when you come with that approach, I ask people when I'm at networking events, what's, your biggest problem you may be struggling with right now?
Right.
Because when you share that, then I'm trying to think of what solutions could I help or connect you to help you. When you open that gate, you ain't looking for nothing in return, just to be of service to somebody. It's going to come back to you.
Correct. Absolutely. No,
Look at this.
totally agree with you on that one. Man.
Getting comments.
Yeah.
We don't
No,
never
we
get
good.
that kind of comment, right?
This good stuff right here. This good stuff right here.
Living the intrigue, Damn, what's all these
Imposter
syllables?
syndrome.
I guess it's 11.
I know we good on time. Imposter syndrome. You run up against that a lot?
Yeah. I mean, the work that I do for others, I do on myself. And so the framework that I have, I use on myself. And that's how I know it works. That's how I know, it can shift and just get some stuff out the way. Right. So there are times, and we're human, right? So there are times fear and doubt will try to come up. You have to take captive of those thoughts quickly. That's Bible again. You have to take captive of the thoughts. And what I like to do is, even if you write down these fears and doubts, write down what's the opposite of that, right? You got to get a bit, the word people use now is delusional, delulu. But essentially, you got to decide what you're going to have faith about, what you're going to choose to believe in. You can either choose, hey, I had this narrative I stayed attached to for a long time, and sometimes it still comes up, and that's, oh, I'm a single mother. What can I do? I'm a single mother. How am I going to do this? It's just me out here. I'm a single mama. That narrative, right? Sometimes my mind wants to take it and run wild with it. But I also have to look at receipts, things that I've been able to do with and for my children as a single mother. I have to think without limits. I have to think without um, um, any impossibilities. I have to dream as if things are already so. I have to speak as if things are already so. And so I tell this story often, but I remember when after my divorce and I had to move back to North Carolina, I was living in Georgia. Again, 2 kids under the age of 3, that's daycare money and all of that. And my children's father is incarcerated, right? So that ain't no child support coming, none of that. So I'm like, the likelihood of me getting out of my parents' house, what does this look like? Because it's looking like pretty much never. Like they're gonna be grown by the time I'm able to afford something outside of this. And I had to, connect to different people. Again, like I said, I went through therapy, I went through coaching, and I had to transform my mind. So I had to start acting like I had a house, right? So I would go to the dollar store, I would get a dustpan, a broom, oven mittens. Now it ain't no house in sight. I ain't been approved for nothing. Even the likelihood of getting an apartment ain't even there, right? But I had to start believing things as if it was already so. Correct. And with that, let me tell you, out of nowhere, the only thing I could say is it was God. That a friend of the family was trying to get rid of property, and they were like, listen, we'll sell you this house for this amount, outrageous amount you're not going to find nowhere else ever, right? They sold the house to us. It was a fixer-upper, fixed it up. We got a house. Everything I wanted, hardwood floors, front porch, front yard, backyard, that sort of thing. So, but I was very detailed in my desire, right? I was like, I want a big front porch that I can, sit and have my ferns hanging from. I want a front yard in the backyard. I want elephant ears in the front. You can Google my house now. You'll see elephant ears in the front, right? Every detail. So we have to get, very intentional about visualization, the things that we desire, and start focusing our mind and actions towards that versus lack. So when you talk about imposter syndrome, does it exist? Yes, it does. But are you equipped with the tools to combat it? Is the question.
Yeah, no, that's a good point because again, me experiencing that myself early on, and then dealing with clients and even in conversation groups, right? We have an ecosystem of people, myself, and then collectively we have an ecosystem, and obviously you're now part of the ecosystem.
Yeah.
For me, it's 3 parts, right? It's experience, or let me reverse it. It's exposure, experience, and then execution, right? And so so you gotta live. I guess the action, getting out of the mindset. The action is really about.
My bad.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, am I hearing myself?
I'm monitoring. I'm trying to monitor us.
Am I tapping in?
Yeah, no, it's not.
Share the scripture today. Share the scripture today.
Well, it was about to be that right there.
So like, what
Go ahead.
are we
Go ahead. My
doing?
bad.
So, no, but ambition, every day, ambition, strategy, activity, and extreme patience. That's something I've been hyper focused on every single day, right? And so that everything is in the mind and internal. You can't look outward to get what's inward. You gotta go from inward to outward in order to execute, right? And so, and that's why I use specific things in these coaching sessions that are tangible to help people actually envision to get past the blockages, if you will, right? Because again, I've used those tools myself to do that.
Yeah, and we gotta get on the other side of fear and comfort. What
FUD. I call it FUD.
what's
FUD.
that mean? What does it stand
FUD.
for?
Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Those things come like boop, 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 boop.
Yeah.
So I use the word FUD, so there's FUD and then there's SOS, right? So let's identify what your FUD is, what you're alluding to, right? And then let's put a process in place, SOS, show, observe, and shape the behavior. So you got
Yeah.
to show somebody, you got to observe it, you got to shape the behavior. Now you can use that on yourself. Show yourself, observe how you're doing it, and then begin to shape your behavior around it. So kind of the same.
Yeah, I just posted a quote recently and I was like, you got to study yourself. You have to
Yeah.
know what are your triggers and you have to be honest. Like, this really scares me, but I'm going to do it anyways. Right. And so I remember I was invited to speak at a women's tech panel. And it was like when I was just getting started. And I'm like, why they got me speaking on this tech panel? Like, what am I going to talk about?
Right.
And I was with these women who were just very knowledgeable of this stuff. And I'm like, what am I going to get up here and talk about? My stomach was in knots. I mean, everybody I was coming in contact with, I was like, pray for me. You know, I'm about to go up, pray for me. You know, like, cause like, I'm like, what am I going to say? I was petrified, terrified, but I still got up there and did it anyways. And it's amazing. Like, people were coming up to me afterward, like, you did such a great job. And I'm just like, listen, I ain't know I was gonna help somebody, but it did. And again, how much we when we talk about, you know, gatekeeping, sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's not intentional. Sometimes that not intentional is because you're out of fear, you're holding on to things, right? But again, whose life we could help better, what generation could we change? I look at things like, I'm not just talking to you and impacting you, I'm impacting your kids. The decision that you make, decisions that your grandma made, your granddaddy made, the things that they chose to do or not do are impacting you today and your children. So I think we have to think more, not just for what we're doing right now, but the impact that we're making for generations to come. The conversations that we're choosing to have or not have, the opportunities that we're choosing to take or not take are impacting our lineage and the lineage of others for generations to come. Again, when you think about Bible, you talk about the generation of Joshua, the generation of Moses. You know, there was a whole generation that had to be wiped out. They could not access the promised land just because of their thinking, their belief, how they operated, their scarcity and lack mindset. They were still in a slave mentality. And because of that, they weren't allowed to go to the promised land. They wasn't allowed to see what else was in store. But there was a generation after them, a small number, who were willing to take the risk, who were willing to say, we got God on our side. What could stop us? What could possibly stop us? We don't care how they look, what they got. Ain't nothing going to stop what we have to bring and what we have coming and what's ahead of us. So I think, you know, we forget what God has promised us, and we have to study and be reminded, like, we already have won. We have the victory. There's no way we can lose. And if anything, those lessons that we had where we feel like we have lost were necessary for us to get to the next win. So it's some things, you know, a lot of people want to be millionaires and things like that. How you handling thousands? You won't.
Right. Yeah.
How you handling thousands?
Right. Correct. Absolutely. She picking with me, Jimmy Jam, you know, because she's on the spiritual, you know, who we could that's a whole nother episode. But your point is well taken. You're right. It's the gotta look within. It's the look within. It's understanding these allegories. It's understanding these scriptures, understanding word placement, right? How words are used. What is the purpose of words? You know, and what are the keys to success, right? What you eat by your eyes, by your ears, by your, you know what I mean? That's what you feed. Your conscious feeds your subconscious mind, and so on and so forth, right? And so that's why habits are important, because your habits will dictate what you said, decisions, right? One of the key terms that's out there in the business world is succession, right? Which is what we don't even know about. The succession planning, right? And so that I'm using that terminology to relate it to decision making for legacies. So when you look at the big dynasties, right, and the big empires, and things like that they show, you have those the kings and the emperors and these people that are in power, CEOs and things like that. They will send you away. They will send you away if you messing up any future decisions based off of what the legacy is supposed to have, because they're seeing 2 and 3 legacies ahead, which is something that we're missing. You know what I'm saying? And so if we think we're going to let TV, social media, things like that raise our kids now, well, then those kids are going to raise their kids the same way. It's just going to be a different phase of it. You know what I mean? So it's a multitude of things that we could sit here and really peel the onion back on. And I thank you for sharing your story in that regards, because that's important for people to hear, and it's important for our alignment, right? Before we jump away, because I don't want to take up too much of your time today. What is a simple exercise that the listeners can try today as a takeaway that can help them move closer to their goals, or improving, or overcoming fears and uncertainty and doubt in that nature?
Sure thing. I would say that you need to be honest with yourself about how you feel. If you're stuck or overwhelmed or you can't get past something, you need to say, and I say this because I just kind of went through a season with this. September and October were kind of whipping my butt. It was things happening back to back to back. And, being a leader in the community and doing the work I do, it was like, nah, I got to keep fighting, But it was like, wait a minute, this is getting heavy, And I had to be honest, like, I'm struggling right now. So I had to be honest with myself, put my pride aside, be honest. Once you're honest with yourself, you need to think about, you need to decide, like, all right, I feel anxious, I'm overwhelmed. This is how I feel right now. Now, do I want to continue to feel this way? Or do I want to feel this way? What is that way that I want to decide? That I want to commit to feeling. What do I want to choose and decide to commit to feeling? Do I want to feel centered? Do I want to feel at peace? Do I want to feel, aligned? Yes or no? Do I still want to keep wallowing over here in confusion and overwhelm and anxiousness? Do I want to stay here, or do I want to go over here? Now, once you decide what you're going to commit to, then you say, well, what actions am I going to take to get closer to this, to my desire? So you have to be honest with yourself. You need to decide what you're going to do, and you got to start taking steps towards that. The steps that I took was I started reaching out to people, like, people who could feed me, people who had overflow. I'm not going to people who struggling themselves. I'm going to people who come with overflow to pour into my cup, right? I'm like, I'm being honest. I'm struggling. Can you help me out? That sort of thing. Can you pray for me? Being humble enough, again, setting pride aside to say, hey, I need prayer too. And then continuing to take that action, whether I need to take more walks, I need to get more, get some more outside time and connection with nature. Hey, I need to just do nothing and be still. Because sometimes we feel like when we say take action, it feels like if I'm still, I'm not taking action.
Correct.
Things are happening when you are still.
Correct.
You are able to hear a little bit more better. You're able to see a bit clearer. So sometimes don't discredit the fact of what stillness and the power of what it can do for you in rest. And so that's what I would recommend. That's the season I'm in, and I hope that helps somebody.
Yeah, no, that helps me. I appreciate it. Sometimes I gotta sit in the back seat myself too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, do you have any questions for us?
Yeah. This was great. First of all, this was a great experience. Y'all are great energy. Y'all are funny. And so I would say, what are some things that you guys do, in regards to when you have feelings of um overwhelm or angst? Like, what is your personal strategy that you take to navigate and keep the motion going?
So who you want to go first, or you want me to
No,
go?
you do. I want to
Oh,
hear you.
I've just been sitting in the corner while y'all was, I'm just sitting up here. Well, for one thing, I was trying to see if I could find a collection plate. That's what I don't have one right here, but that's what I was looking for. I was like, a love offering or something. Jeez, wow, powerful, guys. So, but to answer your question,
Yo, you can't skip church tomorrow though, bro.
oh, well, I gotta run the camera there too. So I'll be there. So so I'm really a serious person though, by the way. It's like, but wow. I'm just, but to answer your question outside of the pills, what I do is I do similar things. Nature. I'm very introspective. Like, I'm super introspective. Like, one thing I do, and I go to a counselor. I said it on the interwebs. Yeah, I go there. But
Yeah.
what I do more is I do the work outside the sessions, and
Okay.
I'm very, I for the last couple of years I really have concentrated on mindfulness. So if I feel the way, I start questioning myself. Well, either I acknowledge it and let it go happen, and then I might be like, well, why did I feel that way? Why am I feeling that? Like I have those self challenges. It's ridiculous. I don't speak out loud, luckily, because people think I'm crazy, even though I am. But
We
the
all
point
crazy.
is, yeah, exactly. So like that. But I try to do that, and being in business, you always have those times. People ask me, I'm like, my stress level is like always high. The danger is you internalize that because it
Yeah.
becomes normal. Being stressed out becomes normal. That's not healthy. So with some of the things I've had going on the last year or two, I've made it a priority to kind of, like to deal with it, just like any other business objective. Like, okay, I need to, I can't get upset about XYZ because in the grand scheme it doesn't matter. I have to, but a lot of it's a lot of self-talk, and is what you mentioned. Like I self-talk, and I'm really, I take coaching, but I coach the heck out of myself, and I say, look, man, it's a lot of that stuff. So that's part of the reason I was sitting there listening, like, because it's resonating, and I'm like, but a lot of that stuff, yeah, for me, it's doing a lot of the things you said, but the biggest thing is, and part of being a leader or running something, there's no one else to place it on. So buck stops with me. So my health, including my mental health, is my responsibility too. So
Yeah.
I gotta, I gotta step up and challenge things I think about myself, to the imposter syndrome thing. I have facts. I can think that, but here are the facts. So now I have to go with myself and say, well, if you believe the facts, how do you believe this thing that's in this voice in your head telling you you're not? But you believe the facts of what you have again. So I do a lot of stuff, it's but you all right with yours. But nah, I'm saying that it's like, yeah, those are the things that I do. So and it's a work in progress all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the fact that you are, courageous enough to now face it. I think a lot of times, and for many years, many people run from it. We try to escape it. And the sooner that we can face these things and think our way through it, we can get to the results that we desire. It's prolonged when you're running away, you're dishonest about it, you're not trying to face it. That draws it out when it don't have to be. Just acknowledge it and really come up with that plan to address it head on.
Yep, that's me. Now he might have something mystic. He got something mystic.
How many syllables? Mystic. Okay.
It's after 12. It's after 12. You're free to use whatever you want.
Yeah, you were quick with it.
Man, so I go inside. I'm introspective as well. I've always been like that. I got a couple of angels with me too, besides God, right? That hang out with me. I'm a twin, so I'm a surviving twin, if you will. So she's always with me. So I take time to make sure I tap in, right? But I read a lot. I read my book. I read the Bible. I do my scriptures. Universal law, connect with that. Everything for me is an exercise. As painful as it is, everything for me is an exercise. But I find that what heals me is, and this probably comes from me being a twin. What heals me or helps me to acknowledge and push through certain things is because I connect with people very well. Is helping people, helping them push, helping them identify, helping them with any problem. I'll roll up my sleeves real quick. It doesn't matter if I have on a dress shirt with a tie. I'll roll up my sleeves. Let's go get it done. Right? We can worry about the dirty clothes later on. Down to then, to having core people around me, surround me, having good people around me too, right? James is one that's in my core group. I got a cousin that I talk to, and a couple other people that select groups. So we sharpen each other, right? It's the 8 versus 80 method. You want to have 8 strong people versus 80 people that you're all friendly with, that really not your friends and don't have your best interests at heart, and so that's kind of the work that I do there, and I share what I learned. And then I just dive into creation because we're creators. So I find a way to turn the pain into energy, and then turn that energy into creation.
Yes.
And I do that in all facets. So I would say I'm skilled in a lot of different areas, but I'm working on becoming a master of self, because that's the goal. That's what the creator put us. We are at spit. He spit us out. We're spitting image of himself, right? His commandments is seek ye first the kingdom within, right? And so that's what I'm always trying to do is, well, when I have these thoughts, or I have these feelings, because feelings are fleeting. Your feelings just because you have a feeling doesn't mean they're indicators. There's like check engine lights. The check engine light, come on, go check it and fix it. You know what I mean? So your feelings are not. If you leave a check engine light on forever, you're not supposed to do that, right? And so your feelings are not supposed to be on forever. They're indicators of something that is supposed to give you an identifier on what the problem is. Figure it out, go fix it, turn the light off, keep it moving. So I'm kind of giving you a roundabout kind of thing. I have some specific other things that I do too. And then writing, I got back into more like my writing, just expressing myself through writing. I always love poetry. So I've been writing a little bit more poetry. I call him and I don't need anything. And I'm dropping a statement.
He's rapping. He's rapping.
Like it's crazy. Like, and then I'm a nature guy, right? So I go outside, walk, ride my bike. I got a dog, so I hang on my dogs. You know what I mean? Go to the park. I love to fish. I didn't do much fishing this year. Shame on me. But next year, and I'm telling y'all now, I gotta get a boat. So, within a year or two, if you guys say, "Where's your boat called?" then you hold me as my accountability partners right there.
All right.
I need a boat. Where's Cole at? Cole on the boat, because the next podcast, I need to have an episode on the boat.
Exactly.
That's what episodes on the boat. You know what I mean? So
That's that.
Couple of things that I do. You know, I got to get back in. I was teaching myself an instrument, a guitar, because I find that the exercises in the guitar with your fingers, learning the notes, when you have to pay attention to and slow down, right? Slow and steady is fast, but you got to go slow and steady at first. Fast happens through repetition. So I use different things as different exercises so I could because I can overthink very easy. So I try not to overthink too much. And then I try to don't overthink the think, overdo the do, if you will. Another statement I have, right? So it's a work in progress. Nobody's perfect. I'm definitely not perfect at all.
But Corey, what's good is you have a multitude of different tools, right? Exactly. And so we got to know what's in our toolkit and when to pull it out. You need to know when you need a hammer, when you need a stapler, right? To know what tool you need to use for what. And if you out here and you ain't got no tools, I know you suffering. If you don't know what tool to use and when to use it, I know your body breaking down, right? Because your body is going to talk to you sometimes before the mind is even catching up.
Correct.
So I remember I had a pain in my back one time, and I was stressed about finances at the time. And my masseuse, who's a somatic massage therapist, was like, "What is going on? Because this is literally a pain in your butt right now." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, how did you know?" But it was my body was talking to me. But again, I'm just going. So when you got pain in your chest, in your back, in your neck, shoulders, your stomach, pay attention. Pay attention. Slow down for a minute. Your body is trying to communicate with you about something important.
Wow.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. No more free information. So look, how do people find you?
Right? Because I listen, I got it. Tafari Unlocked. You can follow me on Instagram at TFARRI Unlocked. Tafari Unlocked on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook Tafari Solutions. But I am here to help you. I am here to serve you. I know what God has gifted me with and designed me to do. And so I'm here to support the D. The D.
So, all right, here we go. Tafari Unlocked, right?
Yep, there you go.
All right, there it is. That's I'm gonna put this over you right here. Yeah, that's Tafari Unlocked on IG.
What
else? Oh, LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just Google or Chat GPT Tafari Unlocked.
There it is.
All right.
Thank you guys.
No, thank you very much.
All right.
Don't hang up yet. We're just gonna come off a lot.
Okay.
Don't go nowhere. I know. Yeah, y'all want to take the rest of the air out the room. So anyway, once again, this was a very special episode of Hey What's Up Live. Very, very special. No, but great conversation. I mean, this is beyond our usual banter.
Okay.
This is a lot. You know, you saw my face the whole time. I'm sitting there like, like, did I just walk into the 300 level class? What the heck? I don't even know what's going on. I ain't take the prereqs for all this, man. I'm like that. So, but thanks for being with us, all our peeps. The interruption earlier, we're gonna show a replay because it's not streaming somewhere. So that's why I was checking. So, but I'm definitely about to upload this for rebroadcast to some of our big fans. And we'll be here in 2 weeks. Don't forget, there's a new Ask Jay the CPA on the channel. Submit your questions, podcast at Haywood CPA. If you ask some questions about this, I'm gonna have to send it to Tafari Unlocked because I ain't qualified to answer some of those questions. And then we see in 2 weeks. I think we're getting ready to record a conversation, or we might just simulcast this to Conversations at Core because I was just here. And so until 2 weeks, we out. Peace.
Don't forget Biz Therapy, people. BIZtherapycoaching.com.
Check
us out.
Later.
Check it out.